Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. I certainly am. Yesterday was a horror show and England will not keep me down and for that reason we are jumping right back into club football. We don't need to talk about England and the Euro. We won't do that until we play against Slovenia anyway. We got to go through the motions. But it is what it is. I hope all of you are well. We are going to be doing a double upload today. It's without question. So this is video number 1. Make sure you guys are subscribed and hitting the notification bell to catch video number 2 later on when we go through all the latest and the news that we will hear from now up until later. It's been a bit of a quiet day, but not a quiet video on this channel, and I'll explain why, because there's 2 things I want to focus on. Firstly, Nico Williams has to be discussed, especially after what we saw last night between Spain and Italy. And also, the whole Michael Olise situation that I couldn't talk about whilst covering England, well, it's still the latest, so we're going to give an opinion on that towards the second half of this video. So, that's the first video for today. Later on, make sure you guys are here for video number 2. Now, let's get cracking. After the calamity that we saw yesterday, where England decided to put on an absolute, not even a snooze fest, an anger fest, yeah? Thanks to Gareth Southgate. Immediately after that, we actually got to see a proper football match. And that was between Spain and Italy. And that was a brilliant game, yeah? I mean, ended only 1-0, but brilliant game. Quite end-to-end for the most part. In other parts, Spain really tried to put the sword to Italy, and Italy were trying to hang on. Italy, you could say unlucky with the way they did concede that goal. Spain did deserve to win, but for Italy to let it go with a goal like that, where Mr. California, like Matisse has put it, Calafiori, scored an own goal. An unintentional own goal. Ball bounced off his leg and went in, literally. I don't think he could have done anything in that situation, if I'm honest. He was just positioned badly in terms of shape. So, it is what it is. That sort of thing happens. But, yesterday, Spain looked brilliant. And that is an example of a team where if England decided to play like how they played yesterday, they come up against Spain, we don't even get beat. We get killed. We get decapitated. We're going to have to arrange a funeral service for the England team if Spain were to play England right now. That's what would happen. So that's where I hope people understand the severity of the situation when it comes to England. But Spain looked brilliant. Spain looked class. Multiple players looked class. Let's be honest. Cucurella. What is he doing? What is he doing in Spain? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He's looking exactly how he looked like when he was playing for Brighton and he decided to join Chelsea. He's looking exactly like that. Some players, man. Some players, they wind us up. Yeah. But there is a baller in there. And Cucurella seems like he is one of those. He's playing very well this tournament so far. The last 2 games, he's been impeccable. And yesterday against Italy, he was outstanding. But he didn't get man of the match. Now, Lamine Yamal, 16 years old, who met the King of Spain in the dressing room, and he asked him, how old are you? He told him 16. He was like, huh, what? He couldn't believe it. I'm surprised he didn't know he was 16, by the way. But anyway, he's the king of the country. I'm sure he's got other priorities. But when it comes to Lamine Yamal, he played really well too. So skills. See, Lamine Yamal he's one of those exceptions. So you look at and you just, at 16 years old, he's playing like he's 24. It's just, you get some freaks of nature, and he's one of them. It is what it is. That is a young kid that you can look at and go, what a baller. What a baller. So, Lamine Yamal, but he didn't even get man of the match. Who got man of the match? Nico Williams. Nico Williams. You see, now this is where it gets interesting, because yesterday's performance was so good from Nico Williams that it's not a fluke. A performance like that isn't an accident. You know, some players out of the blue, they have one man of the match performance and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? But then you look at how they played, and they played really well, but it wasn't like, oh my goodness. Yesterday, Nico Williams was, oh my goodness. It was, let's be honest here. He really impressed me yesterday. That was an impeccable game from Nico Williams. Wow. So, when we go back to hearing that he was linked with Chelsea, I am now looking at Nico Williams as a left winger, a position that we need to address quick. And I'm thinking, yo, Chelsea, go and get him. Not just based on one game, but this game is the icing on the cake. This game is what has sent it over the edge. Because he's been a good player, but he's always been one of those players that you look at and go, he's good, but like, is he really good? Is he there? Is he at a level? Listen, yesterday proved that, yeah, he is. He is. Because the amount of time that he had to think of solutions and he came up with them, the amount of times that he was able to get past players with ease, the amount of times that he got himself into great positions, not once, twice or three times, constantly. Like, he was so, his brain was so in the game. That's what impressed me. And that's what I love in a player, is to be able to see that they know how to think. It's not just about everything they can do with their feet, but they can read the game and anticipate what's coming and make the most of a situation and execute. And yesterday, he didn't stop. He did not stop. He was literally 10 out of 10. Did not stop. So I'm looking at Nico Williams and thinking, you can't be a bad player and put on a performance like that by luck. You can't. Or be an average player and put in something like that by luck. No. Which is why, and funnily enough, I look at the link that Nico Williams has had with who? Yeah. Joe Shields. He's done it again. This guy. He's done it again in a good way, unlike yesterday with England, where, yeah, Southgate did it again in a bad way. But Nico Williams, I think, is a player that, for that left-hand side, it would be criminal if Chelsea don't even entertain this. Now, some people are saying, but his wage demands are so high. I'm sorry, man. Listen, let's just put things into perspective here. He's 21, he's a baller, and he's a left winger. And his fee isn't huge either. I think his release clause is 50 million. He's a sort of player that you would look at and think, you know what? Paying close to 200k is not a problem. It's not a problem. It would be such a shame to not get a player like a Nico Williams who fits the bill. Even if we're talking in terms of age, in terms of longevity, in terms of chemistry. He fits the bill as a Chelsea target, surely. But we're not going to do it because we don't want to pay him over 150k. So the prime motive for Chelsea's recruitment is purely financial then. Because if we were thinking on a footballing level, this is a no-brainer. Am I right? Would you take Nico Williams in this Chelsea team? Let me know. Because I guarantee 99% of you will say yes. Because you're all thinking on a footballing level. Much like I think it's right to think on a footballing level. But on a financial level, even in terms of fee, it would make sense. Even in terms of salary, for a fee not as high as people would expect, 50 mil, you give a player a salary like I've mentioned, that's not the end of the world. Oh, but we're not going to do that because we want to pluck out some 17-year-old from Argentina who's going to come on 20k a week. So it's purely financial. And this is where we have to realise, the club needs to realise that it has to find the balance between the football and the business side. You can't go ultra extreme on either. You can't. Because it's not sustainable. If we want to use the word sustainable, if you go on this side, extreme footballing, and you forget and neglect the business, well, on a money level, it's not sustainable. You're going to find yourself in financial implications. If you go the other way, well, you might be good financially, but you are not putting yourself in the question for success whatsoever. You're going to be struggling on a football level. So this is where you have to find a balance. I think Nico Williams is a player that the club should be able to compromise for. So imagine Imagine having Olise, Palmer, Williams, and then like a striker, or even, I'm against it technically, but even Nkunku in front. Like, that would be flipping mad. That just would be, wouldn't it? So, listen, let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated as we dive into what was happening a couple of days ago with Michael Olise. I've not got everything to show you on screen, but you've all heard of it. We've all seen it, and I'm going to talk about it today. So, Michael Olise apparently is in question and in line for Chelsea, Newcastle, as well as Bayern Munich. But as much as Chelsea feel like they're very confident, and even Palace apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano, feel like Chelsea are the favourites in this situation, Michael Olise has to make a decision. Why? Because not only is he up for grabs by Chelsea, Newcastle and Bayern Munich, with Chelsea leading that race. Manchester United look like they're in the bin in regards to Olise, by the way. But not only has he got to think about all of that, but Crystal Palace apparently have made him a brand new contract offer to stay for more money and a higher release clause. So his release clause at the moment is 60 mil, 65, somewhere there. His new offer could have a release clause reaching up to 100. But he would be offered more money. Now, at the moment, Olise is on 100k a week at Crystal Palace, right? This is where we have to be careful. Chelsea have to be careful here. And I go back to the same point. This 150k salary cap needs to disappear. For players like the two that I'm talking about right now, I'm sorry. You have to go above. You have to go above. Don't neglect the salary cap completely for all the players. No, because we're going to end up in a situation again where everyone's feeling entitled like they want 300k. I understand. You want to balance your books. Not a problem. It makes sense. But not for everybody. There is some exceptions. And if anyone's jealous, well, step up your game. You become as good as this player, you'll get paid this much. Simple as that. It should be based on merit. 100%. Any player that feels like, oh, no, what? But I should be... See you later. If you're not good enough, bye. There's the door. Like, honestly, for Olise, 100k at the moment. If he's offered a new contract, what's the salary in the new contract? Surely, it's even beyond 120 or 130k. Imagine having 100k and then you get offered a new contract and they know that you're the star player and you get offered only 20k more or 30k more. Realistically, you should be aiming for 50% higher. 50% or more as an increase on your current salary. As a star player of the team, you should. So it comes to that 150k figure. So this is where Chelsea need to be careful. Because Chelsea are not in a position right now to tempt him with Champions League football and all sorts. We're in the middle of a project, we've got a lot of uncertainty and we're hoping things are going to be okay. You know, whereas with Crystal Palace, yes, they don't have close to what we have. They never even play European football. But they are stable for their level, they are stable. Oliver Glasner's a new manager that's walked in and he's done wonders. You know, maybe Olise's thinking, if I stay 1 more year or 2 more years and I see what happens here, who knows, right? And then after that, maybe a big club can come in for me. You know, it's a possibility. Now, personally, I think it would be a bit silly for Olise to sign this new deal for Crystal Palace. And I'll tell you why. Because I feel like he's going to tie his hands here. One thing in the football world right now is that there's a lot of teams that are financially handicapped. They're not going to pay crazy money. Victor Osimhen is a clear example of no one's going to pay. No one not even wants to. No one is able to pay more than 100 mil for a player now. It's just everyone's been handicapped. So this is part and parcel why Chelsea, I think, and most clubs are starting to go down this route of trying to pluck out all the talent. But again, it doesn't mean neglect the players that you absolutely need. The 1 or 2, 3 players that the team needs, right? And don't neglect that. But when you're looking at Olise, if he signs a new deal with a release clause of 100 mil, at that point, you're restricting yourself, mate. You're going to have to pray that Real Madrid or Man City come for you. Because if they don't, no one's coming for you. And even then, Even then, Real Madrid right now in a position where they don't need to buy anybody. It's done. They got Mbappe. It's finished. Their team up front is sorted. They don't need to think about buying anyone else. It's finito. Man City, maybe they're the only exception here. Maybe PSG as well. But even PSG don't want to pay for Victor Osimhen. So that tells you maybe where they're standing too. And they're looking to change their model. So it would be a wise decision, I think, for Olise to move this summer. For him. And I'm hoping it's going to be Chelsea. But there's a little bit of uncertainty that's now creeped into this whole saga. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think he will end up joining Chelsea? Or do you think there's a twist in this story that might not be very kind to us? Let me know down below. Much appreciated. And let me know your thoughts on Nico Williams as well down below. Would you have him at Chelsea? Let me know, and I'll see all of you later on for video number 2 as we get into all the latest and we see what happens from now up until later on. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Check out the socials, including TikTok and Instagram and all that shebang in the description. Make sure you're following on all those links, YTF and personal, because there's all sorts coming on both. And I'll see all of you later on for video number 2. Have a good one, people. See you a lot later. Take care and peace.